Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are now looking at AMD. I always like to go to that 30-minute chart, right? Because it kind of tells a story I like to read. So as of now, support was around this 155.54. It looks like we've tried to bounce off of there, only to have trouble back at this area again here, which was around that 157.31. Looks like we've broken through that slightly, right? So we could possibly have trouble here again and get rejected and come back down. Or I always like to say, where are the trouble places? Breaking past, we need to get back above the 157.60, just like that count. Yeah, 157.60, breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again. 157.79, again 158.23, 158.50, breaking that 158.95, 159.18, and should we break that 159.52, breaking that 159.87, and should we break that 160.07, those are possible areas of rejection for AMD as of now. Back to the downside, say for instance we break under the 156.75, we can come back to around, let's say, the 156.43 and possibly have trouble there, or support area there. Breaking that brings us back to 156.18. Should we break that, we could possibly have trouble again, 155.82, and breaking that level 155.54. Should we break that 155.11 and then back down to the 154.84, we could possibly have trouble there. And as you can see, the ATR trail and stop is forming there. So if AMD is something that you trade, I said often, y'all trade carefully, market levels. Once it goes against your reason for getting in the trade, get out, right? So we are now looking at Meta. We closed at 778.38, and as you can see, it kind of did, bounced off of support, which was around the 771.93, only to have trouble here at a level we kind of knew, right? That 779.97 area here. Now where the trouble places, back to the upside, we would need to break above that 779.87, possibly have trouble 780.60. If we should break that, we could possibly have trouble again 781.89, and breaking that possibly around the 784.28, 784.75, 785.87, and breaking that, we could possibly have trouble 786.46, and again at 787.52, breaking that 788.60 is a possible rejection area for Meta today. Now back to the downside, let's look to the downside. If by chance we break under, let's say this level here of 778.43, we could possibly find support again, 777.34, breaking that 775.36. Should we break that, we could possibly use that 200 EMA as of now, 774.89, breaking that, we could possibly have support here, 774.03, and should we break that level, 773.22, which is this area here, breaking that brings us back to 771.93, which y'all see the ATR trail and stop is forming here. I like to see that, right? Kind of like right at a level we have. So should we break that area, that 771.93, the 771.38 is the next level that I have marked for Meta. However, breaking that, we could possibly have support here at the 770.53, and breaking that brings us back to the 769.50, which was kind of like in this area here from Friday. So if Meta is something that you trade today, I said often, y'all trade carefully, mark your levels, and make sure you have a reason for getting in the trade, right? So we are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 176.67. Looks like support was here at this 174.68. We have bounced from there, only to find another trouble place somewhere around that 176. So where the 176, I had to see that again, right? So where the trouble places beyond that 176, we need to get back above that 176.16. Y'all see that ATR trailing stop was a resistance area before, so guess what? It can be a resistance area again. 176.25, breaking that today for NVIDIA, possibly 176.46, and if we should break that, 176.60, breaking that, 176.89, 177. 177.13, 177.43, 177.59, and 177.80. Those are possible areas of resistance. Now back to the downside under the 175.22. We could very well come back to the 174.92, breaking that level. We could possibly find support at 174.68, which is here, right? So breaking that brings us back to 174.52. If we should break that level, something stopped us here, which is around the 174.33. Should we break that, possibly find support again, 174.18, and should we break that, 174 even, could be a support area for us. So if you're trading NVDA today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Now breaking that 174, the next level I have is 173.63. So again, if you're trading NVDA, I said often, y'all trade carefully. Again, I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places could be, right? So we did have a few inside day candles for today's AI being one of those, meaning if we break above 1812, the target for today 1834. Now to the downside under 1756, downside target 1745, and y'all see we have found support here pre-market at that 1770, so it could move in either direction, right? Let's see how much AI normally moves per day. 84 cents, and that is the ATR, which is the average true range. So if AI is something that you trade, I say y'all trade carefully. Carvana is also an inside day candle. We have already reached that target pre-market. We closed at 391.89. And if by chance we would have broke above that 393.06, which we have, let's say that, right? The target for today was 397.19. We've already made a pre-market high of 397.79. Now back to the downside. Looks like we've gotten rejected there, right? We got rejected there. So back to the downside. Let's say we break under 380.81. Downside target for Carvana today is 376.45. Let's go see how much we normally move per day for Carvana, $14.89. Y'all keep in mind that could be in either direction, and it looks like on this 30-minute chart that 5 and 50 wants to cross, but I say wait on confirmation. And if Carvana is something that you trade carefully. Mara was an inside day, and as you can see, we have already broke through that trigger to the downside and almost reached that downside target, which would have been that 1737. Is this a support area for us to take us back to the upside? So support is right now at that 1753. We can say resistance is a level for Mara at that 1772, or use that 200 EMA. Continuing to the upside, we could possibly have trouble again, 1782. The ATR trailing stop is really close to a level that I have marked at 1731 here, and the level of 1794. So 1781, 1794, breaking that, we could still use that 50 EMA as a 1801. So if Mara is something that you trade, these are possible areas of resistance. 1816 could be a rejection area, and then back here at 1823. So Mara was an inside day candle for today. Let's see how much Mara normally moves per day, 96 cents. Keep in mind, y'all, that is in either direction, right? So Netflix is an inside day candle for today. Interesting. Netflix moves so interesting, let's say that. So if by chance we break above 1229.90, upside target 1233.16, back to the downside under 1207.97, downside target 1205.58. Netflix normally moves $28.58 per day. Let's say that, y'all, and that could be in either direction. So if Netflix is something that you trade, I said often, y'all trade carefully. So let's look at the SPY today just to see where we are. The SPY is an inside day candle. Let's say that. So if by chance we break above 664.55, we have an upside target for the SPY today, 664.89. So 664.89 is the target for the SPY should we break above that 664.55. Now to the downside, if we break under 660.37, what is the downside target? 660.27, not very far away. So it looks like we have found support here at this level of 661.43, and I had the 661.33 marked, which is right where the 200 EMA is as of now. So resistance, we can say, is around 662.03. Should we break that, we can use the 662.41, 662.20, 662.68. I've got to get it together, right? 662.68 is a rejection area for the SPY today. And should we break that, 662.95, and breaking that, 663.32, which is our ATR trailing stop, should we break that, we could very well come back to around 663.81. And again here, 664.12, breaking that brings us to that trigger to the upside, 664.55, and we could possibly have trouble 664.98. So those are possible areas of rejection for the SPY back to the upside. Now continuing to the downside, let's say again back under the 661.04, under the 660.37, we could possibly come back to around 659.63 or 68 area here and find support. Should we lose that area, 659.11, and again here at 658.51. So if you're trading the SPY today, I say trade carefully, y'all. In this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed, right? So we are now looking at Tesla. Tesla is an inside day candle, and I say Tesla does what Tesla does, right? We closed at 426.07. As you can see, we found support here right at that inside day support level, 429.51, or the level that we have as a trigger. We've broken through that. The target for today was the 432.22. So right now we're really close to where we've already reached that target pre-market. So breaking that level, we could possibly have trouble again, let's say around 433.35, 434.54, 436.19, breaking that 436.19, 438.42, and breaking that for Tesla today, 442.29. Should we break that for Tesla, the next level I have marked here is at 451.94 or the 452.08. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out in this area here for Tesla. Now, back to the downside, under all of this area here, I would say that 428.01 area, should we break that 428.01 for Tesla today, we could possibly 427.26, find support 427.26, 426.43. So let's go back under this level, 428.01 at 427.26, again here at 426.43, and breaking that 425.70. Should we break that for Tesla somewhere around 424.47 and breaking that 423.25, breaking that 422.22, and to the downside again 421.72 is the trigger to the downside. Breaking that, we can come back and still find support at 419.71. Breaking that brings us back to around the 417.54 where we can find support there, and breaking that level brings us to the downside target of 416.56. So again, Tesla is an inside day candle. Breaking that 421.72 gives us a downside target of 416.56. Now breaking that 416.56, we could possibly find support for 414.99, 413.75, and breaking that 413.75, 412 could be a support area for Tesla. So I said often, y'all, if Tesla is something that you trade today, trade carefully and mark your levels. Once it go against your why, get out. To make sure you have the discipline to get out, y'all. So this is what I see when I look at the market. I say it often, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you, and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan, making sure that you have a plan before going into the trade, right? So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.